This is the injury report presented by NYU Langone Health. Amazing stand up. I think I have some good news for you guys on the health of Kodai Senga. We're talking about him with Dr. Kirk A. Campbell, a sports orthopedic surgeon with NYU Langone Health. Doc, how you doing, man? Welcome back.
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me.
Last time we did basketball. This time we do baseball. The Amazins, they're listening to this because they want to know what's going on with Kodai Senga. Let's start this thing off. When we talk about his initial injury, it was a posterior capsule strain in his right shoulder. He received that diagnosis in late February. Before we go into what's going on, what would a typical timeline look for rehab and then a return after that type of injury?
Great question. So in terms of a posterior, shoulder capsular strain, which was your initial injury back in February, typical timeline is about 6 to 8 weeks. You kind of take the pitcher, off the field. You rehab him. If there are any mechanics issues or conditioning issues, you address those. So a typical timeline is 6 to 8 weeks. And if you remember, they initially placed him on that 60-day disabled list. So that's around the timeline, that he's working with.
All right, but they had to pause his rehab due to some triceps tightness. You think that was a result of overcompensation, or do you think he was just pushing himself too hard?
He's an elite athlete, right? And everything has to be functioning at a very high level for him. So the triceps tightness, that certainly happens. Usually it could be a mechanics issue. If you guys recall, he did take a step back during the initial phase of his rehab to work on mechanics. So, typically not very concerning, all right? And we've had some good news this week. Although he missed that bullpen session, on Sunday, he was back to light throwing on Tuesday. So he's definitely trending in the right direction.
The mechanics issue, do you feel as though that was the player being a little, super cautious with the injury?
No, not being super cautious. A pitcher, the shoulder, elbow, extremely important, for generating the amount of, force and the overall mechanics of the shoulder. So if he's not feeling that his mechanics are perfect, they did the absolute right thing, taking a step back, work on the mechanics, work a little bit more on conditioning, rehab him before putting him back out there, to face hitters. So I think they're taking, yes, maybe a cautious approach, but I think it's the appropriate approach for a very, very important member of the team.
Let's say the training staff and the player didn't take the cautious approach, and he kind of skipped over the mechanics aspect of it and was just like, you know what, I'm just going to go. My team needs me. How could he have re-injured it? Could it have been a lot worse than what it initially was?
Absolutely. Could have certainly caused other issues. If, your mechanics are not, in tip-top shape, then you change other things. And, these little subtle changes could really put him at risk for injuring something else. As I alluded to, a pitcher is a very fine-tuned athlete. Everything has to be functioning at the right way at the right time. You see it during his windup, his throwing. Everything is a well orchestrated, approach to delivering, what, hopefully will be a devastating pitch coming up.
When we talk about the bullpen sessions, and let's say he goes to the minor leagues and he throws down there for some actual, getting some game action, what's the training staff looking at in terms of him getting back to 100% and returning with the team?
Yeah, hopefully we'll see what, he did last year, right? We want to see his velocity. You want to look at his overall mechanics. More importantly, you want to see how his body responds after that session. Is he sore? How much pain, discomfort is he having? Is he able to get back out there, the next day to do his regular post, pitching routine? These are the things you want to look for. And, I'm pretty sure they will not let him back to playing until he's really responded well to these, starts with a bullpen session. And then after the bullpen session, you go to the minor leagues, you face some hitters, and you gradually build back up in terms of your, conditioning to be able to, go out there and face major league hitters.
Is this something that could be playing with his mental? Because as we athletes, we rehab and we go harder on our rehab. It could be a good soreness, or there could be a bad soreness where it's like, okay, something's going on here. How's he managed this with in terms of his mental?
It's a very fine line. You bring up an excellent point, right? Athletes, at some point, you're always sore, right? There's a difference between being sore and being in pain. So you always have to walk that fine line. And I think, they're taking the appropriate approach. Yes, he's going to push himself extremely hard, but, they have a fantastic medical staff who's going to make sure that, he's responding well. You're going to look at his numbers, is his velocity, is the location, is he's delivering all the things that he needs to, and then you make a decision based on objective data as well as with input from Kodai as well.
All right, Doc, here's the million-dollar question. We went from the 60-day IL to the Mets saying that his return timetable is open-ended. Will we see Kodai Senga pitch again this season, or pitch this season?
So fantastic question. So, again, I don't have access to his medical records. I'm not his treating physician. But based on the current information that is out there, I do believe he has a very good chance of pitching again, this season. So, hopefully, Mets fan, hold out hope. Hopefully he'll be back soon.
Doc said, so you saying there's a chance? There we go.
There is a chance.
There we go, right there. Hey, Doc, always appreciate it when you come on, man. Thanks for taking the time out of your day.
All right, thanks for having me.